Hi, Nathan. Christ is risen.
Truly is risen.
This is America Goes Orthodox from St. Andrew's Monastery, and we have Nathan today with us. He's going to tell us a bit how was his life before he found Orthodoxy. Please tell us where you was living, how was your life, Nathan, before the...
Before I was Orthodox, I was evangelical, which mostly means I was just raised anti-Catholic and preparing for the rapture. But as I grew older, I got more into my faith, and around 2020, people stopped going into the church, and they would just watch it from their house. And there's something entirely different about that, especially with evangelicals. The faith is entirely it's based on the emotional feeling of being in the auditorium of the rock concert, and then you hear the message. It doesn't come across the same on the TV. And
Nathan, how do you have to share any divine experience? How God showed you the truth? How He's helped you on this?
There's some strange things which happened around my house. Best way to put it, that's not shocking, not really too shocking, is that my dad, he was married before he met my mom. She was a bit of a evil woman, we'll put it. The woman they bought the house from is very similar in disposition.
And did you ask from God help? How He's helped you?
Well, during that time, I asked God to save me. It's because I felt as if I was about to die every night. Lay down, and I felt like someone was either sitting on me or beating on me or screaming at me.
I see. Nathan, how God saw you, lead you in the Orthodox Church? How you was felt the first time when you being in the Orthodox Church?
I've kind of always known about Orthodoxy, but everyone is referred to as the Greeks, or sometimes the Russians. But when my last year of high school, I had to take a world religions class, and the high school I went to was a bit of a difficult high school. So we got very in depth to most of the Christian denominations and most of the religions of the world. They had two lessons on Catholicism, one about what they believe, history, and another why they're wrong. But at the end of that lesson, they just said the Orthodox Church is the church that covers Greece, the Balkans, and Russia. Everything we said here, besides what we said about the Pope, applies, and nothing was ever mentioned. They went in depth in stuff about the Quakers, and I've never met a Quaker, but I've met Orthodox, met Catholics, I met all sorts of people. Religions which you've never heard of or seen someone practice, they did entire lessons on them. But they didn't do that with Orthodoxy, so I looked into it, and that's how I learned a little bit more about it. At a certain point, when there was the strange stuff happening around my house, it always happened right after I would start looking more into Orthodoxy. It ramped up after I became convinced of infant baptism. It ramped up after I became convinced of real presence. It ramped up after I became convinced of imagery. All that weird stuff stopped after I had the house blessed, mind you, so I haven't seen anything since.
Yeah, that makes sense, yes.
But there was one day I decided, okay, I'm going to check out these churches I'm interested in, because I'd gotten a list of, at first it was Baptist, Lutheran, and Orthodoxy. And Orthodoxy was maybe the last choice. My first choice was Lutheranism, but because I thought the true church wasn't around, then I was looking for it, or the closest thing to it. Orthodoxy is the true church.
What made you to believe this, Nathan?
I studied history. I looked into church history. Even among most of the old Protestant denominations, they'll still tell you that, yeah, the Greeks, they have an unbroken chain. We also have an unbroken chain, but they don't. They broke it when they broke off. But I searched for an Orthodox church around me. I went in there. The first thing that hit me was the incense, and yes, I went during the middle of the week as well, because I was worried that I would I would see, I would be self-conscious about it. Do I venerate? Do I cross myself? So I stood or sat in the back and watched the service. I went on the feast day of Saint Demetrius, which awesome saint. It's not my patron saint. I am baptized now, but
What's your name now?
my name is Nathan still, because I took Nathan the Prophet, because that's who my mom named me after.
That's beautiful. Nathan, how the Orthodoxy help you in your life, in your mindset, your relationships, your business, your daily life?
A lot of what Orthodoxy is day to day is it's humility. It's denying yourself. Where I work currently I work at a deli, so you're serving people and you humble yourself. It makes that job easier. With my family.
So the humble is power, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
You submit your will to your boss, your parents, in case of spiritual life, to your pastor, your priest.
Nathan, how your family see the change on you? They support you, they have questions?
My mom supports me. My brother is ambivalent. to put it mildly, he doesn't care too much. Sadly, my dad's not so supportive, but
Nathan,
I've had a lot of my family. They raised me to love God, and they raised me to seek after the truth. If they at least trust, because it's still Christianity. If I had said, yeah, I'm converting to Mormonism, yeah, I'm converting to Judaism or something, they would probably go down to me and say, you're denying Christ. So that wasn't supposed to happen. You're denying Christ, but I don't deny Christ. Christ is the Lord and Savior.
That's right. What was the most difficult part for you when you entered in the Orthodox Church? How you passed through this?
Sadly, it's the fasting that was the most difficult, which may be apparent by how
That's awesome.
how a little bit rotund I am, but I had to. The main thing was that it was, what do we not eat, and it was pretty obvious from the start. I was just trying to find a way around it. But we don't eat meat. We don't eat animal products. We abstain from oil. We abstain from. It says wine, but I think most people do alcohol. And that's when I got past that. It was somewhat easy, but it's a rhythm that you get into.
Does the fasting help you, Nathan?
Oh, the fasting helps me wonderfully. On the fast days, I find that I'm able to keep my prayer rule easier. I find that I'm able to. There's less negative thoughts towards people, like, this person's stupid. What they want me to do is stupid. Less of that, more, they want me to do this, I'll do it. Less of that. If I'm in prayer, there's less thoughts about I got to do this later and this, and I'm trying to plan out my day while I'm trying to pray. Less of that and more if I see something that's like talking about, forgive me for how lustful I am, forgive me for this, if I've done this day, like in the evening prayers, the prayer book I have, like, that's me. That's me. Forgive me for overeating. Forgive me for being proud.
That's right. Nathan, one last question for you. What do you have to say to those who are seeking for truth?
You will find truth in Orthodoxy, and there's an old saying that the truth often hurts. It often hurts. At least in Orthodoxy, it's being humbled. I was doing a lot of my own independent research, which is really just me losing my mind, trying to justify history about why this is the case or this isn't the case.
Nathan, if you have the Jesus Christ in front of you right now, what do you want to say to him?
My Lord and my God, forgive me.
That's very beautiful. Thank you very much, Nathan, to share this with us. We wish you all the best and to keep going, brother. This is America Goes Orthodox from St. Andrew's Monastery.